Yo, dude, did you see what just happened at Six Flags the other day? No, what happened? Well, so that Superman roller coaster was going up the hill and it just flew off the tracks. No way! Actually? Yes way, dude. I got it on video. Wanna see it? Yes, please. Well, Darien Lake patrons, a rough start to the season is about to get even rougher. As many of you know, Ride of Steel has been testing this past weekend, which gave us hope that the ride would get state approval so we could actually, ride it. Well, unfortunately, it did not open this past weekend, and it probably won't be opening for a long time due to the events of a test run this past Sunday. Now, with that being said, this is all technically just speculation at this time, but I do have sources inside the park. A good amount of this information is true. Today, I'll be laying out the information that we know about what's happening with Ride of Steel and try to make some conclusions on what actually happened to the ride. But before we hop into the video, make sure to do me a favor and like this video as it helps out the channel greatly against the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe for more Darien Lake and Ride of Steel updates coming soon. Now, with that being said, let's hop into the update, starting back at the pass holder preview weekend. During that day, we learned that Ride of Steel had not been inspected by the state and was not approved for riders. There was nothing indicating that Ride of Steel would have been closed to the day outside of the park or on their park website or social media. However, a couple hours into the day, Darien Lake gated off the area that Ride of Steel is in, indicating to us that it'd be closed for the day. Another possibility that was thrown around was the park's staffing issues that they have been going through. The park has been understaffed lately, and they've struggled to be able to open all of the rides in the park, which is understandable considering what the national environment has been like, but it did seem a little bit goofy to me that Darien Lake would close their star attraction due to staffing issues. Now, throughout the week, we heard grumbles of the ride possibly being open for the weekend. However, there was essentially no change to how the park was treating the ride, but the area was no longer gated off, which gave some hope. The next day, the ride started testing, which once again gave us more hope that it would possibly open for the weekend. We had actually heard from employees that the ride would be opening later on in the day. Testing of the ride ceased around 2 p.m., but it started up again around 5 p.m.
I think it might open.
That's what we said last time.
It's not gonna open. Yeah.
There it is.
Bro, it's so slow. It's not. At this point, they started allowing us to line up outside of the entrance or exit for people who had fast passes. While waiting in line, we got to view the ride test a few times, and something occurred to us. The ride was running much slower than it would be on a typical hot day like it was, but we brushed it off, assuming that it was just a lack of weight in the train and the coaster not having the chance to warm up. While waiting in the gift shop, we actually got the chance to have a conversation with the employee working the photo booth. He actually told us that the ride was having issues with the brakes the week prior, which might have explained why we saw the train on the switch track and being moved into the station and not really testing whatsoever. Apparently the goal was to get the coaster open by Friday, but that did not happen. And then they're trying to get the coaster open around 11:30 a.m., which also did not happen. And then the goal was 4 o'clock, and by the time we were in the gift shop, it was about 5:30-ish. He also told us that the ride was having suspension issues, which prevented it from opening. Unfortunately, shortly after that, we were then made aware by a group of employees that the ride would be down for the day, and the angry crowd stormed off into the rest of the park.
Yo, so, what do you think about waiting 45 minutes for them to be like, it's closed for the day?
It's crap.
This is so dumb.
Very poorly run today.
Dude, this park is
Very
horrible.
poorly run.
This park is so bad.
They're low on employees.
I mean, I can't blame them for that, but they don't know. They don't know what
They have no idea what they're doing. Darien Lake You gotta do better, dude.
This is terrible.
This is not a great family fun experience.
Yeah, dude, this. Oh my gosh.
Yo, let's go to Crossroads.
I think. I mean, they just put the chain down. I mean, the chain
should still wait. We might as well.
No, they said it's done for the rest of the day.
Yeah, they put that. Wait, did they?
Yeah, they told me it's done for the rest of the day.
Yo, they gotta stop trolling. Yo, is Predator open? Yo, is
I'm gonna
Predator?
try going tomorrow so I can ride it.
I don't care. Yeah, it's not open. This is horrible, man. This is.
After the park closed for the day, we learned that a state inspector was on site and allegedly took a test ride on the coaster. All we know about that is that Ride of Steel still hasn't been approved by the state. But the next day, which was Sunday, the ride continued to test for most of the day. However, at one point during the day, allegedly something went wrong with one of the tests. I first heard that Ride of Steel derailed on the final hills during a test run, which sounds really bad. But I assure you, the ride didn't just fly off the tracks, and it's still intact today. But apparently what happened was the wheels on the wheel assembly were known to be seizing, causing the ride to run slower than anticipated, which I can confirm as an eyewitness. I saw the train going over the final hills much slower than it usually would be. Usually the train hauls over those hills and slams into the brake run with a lot of speed left. However, in this instance, it pretty much just crawled its way into the brake run and barely made it. Also, for those of you who don't know, seizing is basically when the wheels are almost like too close to the track and it causes excess friction, which causes the ride to go slower. I am no expert on this, but that's what the information sounded like to me. There have also been rumors that the wheel assembly is completely damaged beyond repair due to this and will need a full replacement from Intamin. Now that part is unconfirmed, but that is also what could have led to the potential derailing. From what I can tell, that pretty much would have meant that the back car would have came off the track for a very short period of time and was just pulled through the rest of the course by the rest of the train. Now that is just speculation, but I heard from maintenance workers at the park it could have been a possibility. However, what we do know for sure is that the wheel seizing caused the train to be stuck on the brake run, actively preventing an advancement into the station when the brakes released the train. Now, let's get to my suspicions on why this actually happened. I think a big potential catalyst for this problem could have been the ride not operating in about 18 months. I obviously don't know what the maintenance practices are at Darien Lake, but I highly doubt the ride was testing or being cycled during the 2020 season. I also do know that the wheels on the coaster are supposed to be replaced frequently, so I'm suspecting that the wheels on the coaster were replaced leading up to the potential 2020 season and were not really messed with until 2021, which may have actually led to this issue. I also do know that some parks take apart the trains of their coasters in the off season, so maybe a mix up with the wheels happened. That is entirely possible as well. Also, one more factor that I heard being tossed around was that shin guards were actually installed onto the coaster that day just for the back car only to see how they would work. I had heard that Six Flags was pressuring them to install shin guards on the coaster similar to what they did on Six Flags America's clone of this coaster, probably to reduce insurance costs. Apparently, the added weight may have been a factor with this issue. However, at this point, this seems to still be speculation. Also, the potential minor derailment of the coaster and destruction of the wheel assembly aren't 100% confirmed as well, but it's sounding that it is pretty likely that that will have to be replaced, which could cause downtime of up to a month, or potentially even longer than that, which is very frustrating. Now, I'll definitely make sure to keep you guys updated as the story unfolds because the information is pretty scarce and there's not a whole lot confirmed at this time. So we'll be doing our best to get more information to you guys out through Instagram and YouTube. Now, if you have any more information on this incident, make sure to put it down in the comments below. And if you know anything else about wheel assemblies that I may have gotten wrong, make sure to put it down in the comments below. I'm trying to get the most accurate information as I can. Also, make sure to share your thoughts on what you think about all of this. Do you think Darien Lake needs to step it up? Or are you just as disappointed as I am that the park probably won't be opening Ride of Steel for a while now? Now, I am trying to come out with a vlog for that Saturday that I was at the park that they kind of trolled us. And I'm also trying to come up with a commentary video to describe my experiences at Darien Lake so far in full outside of Ride of Steel, so I can get you guys that as well. But once again, make sure to like this video if you're enjoying the content. Please do not dislike if you're mad about the news. That won't really help anything. But also, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe if you want to get more Darien Lake and Ride of Steel news updates coming soon. Now, with all that being said, guys, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.